Good evening, everybody. I am Adam. This is Open Late, and I'm very, very excited about this one, this nondescript brown box here in front of me. Um, this one is one that, if I'm being perfectly honest, I didn't think I was going to get. I didn't think this was something that would be in my collection. When I saw it, when I heard about it, when I sort of learned about the the hoops that needed to be jumped through in order to get this, I was not terribly optimistic. Now that being said, um, I I knew I had a chance because I have some friends that I knew could definitely help me out and would very likely be more than willing to help me out. And so through 100%, some very, very good friends of mine, I was able to procure this rather adorable piece to add to my collection. Um, all right. So, what is it, you ask? Well, it is the 40th anniversary of the Dragon Ball manga version of Goku and Shenron, which I'll get to in a minute. And I forgot one thing that now I need to grab. Because it's sort of an integral piece to this puzzle, or to the puzzle that is this figure. Yeah. So let's get it out of the box first, and then I'll kind of tell the story and talk about all the steps that were required to get this thing. It is so this is the box that I got it in. Now, this was not shipped to me. More on that, when we sort of get there. This box was actually shipped to a friend of mine in Japan. Or sorry, it was shipped to the mother of a friend of mine in Japan. And then it was shipped to my friend who lives in the same city that I do. And he had forgotten about it. I had more or less forgotten about it because this goes back about a year and a half, I think. I want to say sort of mid 2024 or early 2024. Actually, I could. Well, anyway, we'll get there. Anyway, I'm gonna pull it out of this brown box, and we'll go from there. So, as I said, it shipped in a brown box, and in this brown box was another brown box. So this just says SH Figuarts 40. I think this is 40th anniversary edition. My Japanese is okay. My kanji is not that great. So you have 40 and you have year. But I don't know. I think it's anniversary, but I don't know. On this side, of course, you get some more English. So you get Son Goku and Dragon. It's not even Shenron on the box. Son Goku and Dragon 40th anniversary edition. I will open this, and then I will tell you the story of sort of how this all came about in terms of me getting this, or how anybody got this. I mean, I wasn't unique in sort of what I had to do to get this. So there is the box. You get it's a nice big box. It's sort of a cube sized box. So you get the two different covers, and I don't know what the two different covers are. This is apparently a cover of issue 1 of Dragon Ball. But this is also a cover of Dragon Ball issue 1, and this is the cover that I know. More on what I know in a moment, but very quickly, just a brief history of sort of how you went about procuring this very adorable SH Figuarts 40th anniversary edition. About a year and a half ago, if my memory serves, you had to buy, and it's available in Japan, at newsstands. You might have been able to get it, kind of other places. Um, it doesn't say the year. Dang it. So we would say the year because I literally cannot remember. 2024. Okay, so it was 2024, November of 2024. Or no, I don't know. I don't know what the date is for this. But anyway, this is V Jump magazine. So this is like the anime and manga magazine in Japan. It's hugely popular. When I was chatting with my friend, he said that this is like a lot of people that aren't even collectors don't really grow out of buying this. Like you don't even have to be a collector to be into V Jump magazine. It's kind of like a magazine, like basically if there was a North American version of V Jump, every toy collector that we know would probably buy it, but so would all the video game kids, the anime kids, the comic book kids. Like it's kind of like the magazine for kind of nerdy collector culture. You had to get this magazine to get this figure. You had to get this magazine, and then in very Japanese fashion, you had to pull out, one of these inserts. So these V Jump magazines come with a bunch of inserts. So this is the Dragon Ball card game. There's a card in here. I haven't opened it. I can't bring myself to open it. But then you get a bunch of manga. So you get some Dragon Ball manga here, and then you get more inserts, and you get sort of video game stuff, and you get more manga. I don't even know what this manga is. I haven't even read this. I've had it for like a year. You get more inserts. There's music. There's cards. There's manga. There's, but anyway, more to the point. One of these little inserts that they have in here was like a basically a mail in sheet, and you literally this I had to ask a couple times because I didn't quite believe it. You literally had to cut the thing out of the magazine, fill it out with all your information, and mail it in to V Jump magazine like it's 1987, and you're mailing away for a Cobra Commander figure. And I can't tell you, as somebody that collects and that loves physical media, how happy it made me that you physically had to mail it in, that it was literally, this is literally like a mail away figure. You had to, like, I don't, you probably had to, send a self-addressed stamped envelope and a check or something. I don't even know. I don't know exactly how it worked because, like I said, I didn't have to do it. So it's, going back to my friend helping me out on this. My friend, who is Japanese, moved here. Oh man, 12 years ago or something like that. I about 10 years ago, I guess. No, 12 years ago. Anyway, I met him very shortly after he had moved here. I won't bore you with the history, but like was at one point fairly fluent in Japanese. I don't speak it enough to say that I'm fluent now. Um, but have always had Japanese friends. I met him just at the bike shop that I worked at. And he didn't have anybody to go ride bikes with, so he and I sort of became friends through biking, through cycling, and we've been friends ever since. He was in my wedding party, and very, very good friend and an awesome dude. Not a toy collector. He is a photographer, and I'm kind of working on him to sort of do some toy photography stuff. He's interested. It's just our times. We've had trouble kind of lining up times and stuff like that. But anyway, that's beside the point. This got announced. They said you have to get the magazine, you have to do the mail away, you have to do the whole thing to get this figure. I messaged him. I said, can someone in your family get V Jump magazine and figure out how to get this figure? He was immediately on board. He was super keen. His brother bought the magazine, and did the whole mail away thing for me. It was delivered to his mother's house. His mother is lovely. I've met her a couple times, and she's fantastic and amazing. And whenever they come to visit him, we visit them as well. Um, when our children have been born, we've like FaceTimed. When we meet my friend and his family, when we have new kids, we FaceTime with his parents. So we're very, very good friends. Um, and so that's how I got this. It was like, I think it was almost a year between when you had to do the mail away and when it actually shipped to people. And I had, like I said, I'd almost forgotten that was, what was happening. I'd almost forgotten that this was still on the way. But like I said, my friend messaged me and he goes, "Hey, this is here now. Do you want to come pick it up?" And I was like, "Of course I do." So I actually went over to his place, hung out for a little while, and sort of opened the box, took a little bit of a look at it. But anyway, that was how I got this figure. Now, what does this figure mean to me? Uh, Again, without boring anybody with the details, I have loved Dragon Ball, and more specifically Dragon Ball Z, but I love Dragon Ball since I was in, I guess, elementary school, like grade fifth grade, sixth grade, somewhere around there. And that predates when Dragon Ball was available with an English dub. I was watching VHS tapes sent to a school friend of mine who was Japanese. It is Japanese, and whose parents had migrated to Canada, and so their family was still sending them VHS tapes to kind of remind them of home and stuff like that. My friend was born in Canada, but what they still wanted them to sort of see Japanese cartoons and stuff like that. But anyway, I've told that story a million times and it's boring at this point. I love Dragon Ball. It's one of my favorite IPs. It is so fun and just so innocent in sort of in nature, I guess. Um, and so I was very, very, very excited to even have the chance to get this. I mentioned that this is the cover that I know. This, I guess, is a cover, but it's not a cover that I know. This, as I said, is the cover that I know. When I was in Japan, I picked up a used copy of issue 1 of the manga. But just because I love Dragon Ball so much, I also bought a new copy of issue 1 of the manga, which I've kept in this dust cover forever just to keep it a little crisper, a little bit cleaner. But anyway, this is the cover that I know for Dragon Ball issue 1. And it's the cover that I love. I love this depiction of Shenron and Goku. I mean, Kid Goku on sort of chibi Shenron. To the best of my knowledge, and feel free to correct me if you're a bigger Dragon Ball fan than I am. I always say that I love things the way I love them, and I don't ever say that I'm an expert on anything. I believe uh, this is pretty much the only place where we ever see Shenron sort of in this style, in this kind of non-Shenron style. The great dragon summoned by the Dragon Balls. I think there's a couple other kind of marketing type things like this where we see him like this, but for the most part, Shenron is the big sort of menacing mean dragon. But this is issue 1 Shenron, and so before we kind of met Shenron, he's on the cover, and Dragon Ball. Okay, well, there's the dragon. What a friendly little guy. He's probably going to help them. No, he's not friendly, and he's not going to help them. But anyway, super, super excited. That's the story of how I got this. we've kind of looked at the outer package. There's what we're getting inside the box. So you get exactly what's on the cover of the first issue. You get Goku on Shenron, and then a 40th anniversary stand there to pose it up. This might have been like a reprint cover, or I don't know. If somebody knows, please let me know, whether you're watching tonight or whether you're watching on a replay. Please let me know what this is. I believe it's a cover, but I don't know sort of which version of the cover it is. Anyway, that's the outer box. Let me finally say hello to the chat, and then I'll get the slip cover off, and we'll get this guy out of the box. John is here, and John said, "Freaking jelly, you got this one." I am jealous of myself, if that's a thing, because, like I said, this is right up there, for me personally. Saf is here as well. Good to have you, buddy. No Chewing is hanging out tonight. Jeffrey, good to have you guys in the chat. And I think there's other people watching, but I don't know. Let me know if you're watching. Let me know. But if you don't want to, that's cool too. You can just hang out and watch. Some people just like to watch. That's fine. Okay, so that's the slipcover. No big deal. Let's get the slipcover off and take a look at this absolute beauty. So there it is. There's the window box that we're sort of used to. Okay, Brian, thank you, Brian. I appreciate you. So Son Goku and Dragon, they don't call it Shenron, which is interesting. I always assumed it was Shenron, and I keep referring to it as Shenron. Maybe it's not. Maybe within sort of the lore, it's just a dragon. But to me, it's Chibi Shenron. But anyway, there's a nice big open window box, which is what you'd expect from SH Figuarts, and then some pictures of the product on the side. We get more pictures of the product posed in different ways with sort of the different expressions with different accessories and things like that. On the back, we get some of those same pictures in color, and sort of, a full picture of what we're getting. Look at that dragon. Look at how cute he is. He's adorable. And then another big window on that side. The top is all window as well. So you did plenty of light in there. Very vibrant, very colorful. But I'm not keeping it in the box, so who cares? On the bottom, because this box is so big, you don't even just get legalese. You get pictures as well. But all right, let's get this out of the box. And like I said, I cheated a little bit. I did sort of take the trays out of the box. That's why the tape is already cut, when I was hanging out with my buddy, because he really wanted to see what it was all about. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see this before. What is this? Take a look. Okay. Inside the box, we get the trays. And there are 3 trays. There is a tray for the stand, a tray for the dragon, and a tray for Goku, as well as this. Now, what is this? I don't know. It looks to be the instructions for the figure, but maybe more. Do I want to open this? I don't know. I don't want to wreck it. I want to wreck the bag. The tape I'm not worried about, but the bag I don't want to wreck. And, of course, it's SH Figuarts, so the tape does not wreck the bag in the slightest. Let's take a look. What do we got here? So there's the instructions. If you're not familiar with SH Figuarts, they give you these nice instructions on like how to change everything and like, what can be changed and all that kind of thing. How to build the stand, how to put Shenron, the dragon, just dragon. How to put dragon on. There are interchangeable dorsal fins. Now, I don't know why. Okay, so there's interchangeable dorsal fins because I believe, if I had to guess, there's a normal dragon fin, but there's also a fin. So there's a normal dragon fin, and then there's a a replacement or an interchangeable piece that kind of locks Goku on his back. That's pretty rad. That's that's kind of wild actually. But there is the sort of display for like how to put the display together so that the dragon will fit on there. The dragon is more of a statue than it is like a posable dragon, which is fine. I'm totally okay with that. He's very likely gonna go in this pose on my shelf, just as he should. Um, all right, so this is the little booklet that comes. Now, interestingly enough, manga is always it's always right to left. But in this case, for this SH Figuarts booklet, they've gone left to right, Western style, which is interesting. It's not good or bad. It's just different. 1984. So that's there you go. November 20th, 1984 was when issue 1 came out, I guess. Well, according to this. So there you go. Some like pictures of okay, so this is kind of cool. So it's it's showing the image that they used as sort of a reference for like different poses that they do and stuff like that. And pictures that when they pose the figures, that it was based on these particular pictures. There's the development of sort of what you get there. Again, as I said, I speaking Japanese is one thing, reading Japanese is a completely different thing. And anybody that speaks Japanese and doesn't read it knows exactly what I'm talking about. I can't read this. I don't have a chance. But it's very cool and I'm happy to have it. It's just all about the development of this figure, photographing of the figure, posing of the figure, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, cool. I will never know what the book says. And that's okay. I don't mind because it's about the toy. The development's cool, but it's about the toy for me. Let's get that out of the way. I'm gonna. Oh, you know what? I probably need those instructions to put the stand together properly. Shout out to Kevin from Toying Around, who never needs instructions. I do. I don't want to put it together incorrectly and then have it not fit, and then be frustrated. So I'm gonna use the instructions. All right, let's start with this. So there is the tray for the stand. Nice big 40th Dragon Ball stand. You get Shenron on there, looking a little nastier than he does in his sort of form in the package here. And then some Nimbus clouds to prop that up. SH does or I should say Bandai does this really, really well. When they do stands like this, they do a full stand and then you pop out the little plugs if you want to, but you don't have to. Like, it ships with the plugs in. And because I am going to display it with the dragon, I'll just pop those out. So got those out. That's going to sit right there. And then it's going to tell me which pieces. Yeah, but how do I know which piece is which? Oh, classic Bandai. How am I going to know which pieces are which? Hey, dum-dum. Match mounting shape. Note the direction. Okay, so I guess they only... Oh, yeah, these are keyed. All of these are keyed, but in like the subtlest of ways, which is wild. There's like 2 little notches on that one. There's 1 little notch on that. There's 2 notches on this one, but they don't match the 2 notches on that one. Genius. And then I just have to hope that my eyes are good enough to see that that one goes here. But which way? This one can go two different ways. Okay, I'm not going to lock that one in because I don't know which way it goes. This one goes here, and it can only go one way. This one can only go one way, and it goes here. All right, so those are locked in and ready to go. Get that tray out of the way. I'm going to get dragon. There is the dragon tray. So you get the dragon, you get his whiskers, and you get a chunk of orange plastic. What is that for? What do I need a chunk of orange plastic for? What am I missing out on? This doesn't make any sense. All right, there's the dragon. There's the whiskers. Oh, that's the replacement fin piece. So his fin gets replaced by a clear plastic piece. Why is there an orange? What am I missing? Why am I? Hopefully I figure it out. But if not, it's not the end of the world. I feel like this is like Blue's Clues. Like there's somebody like shouting at a TV screen, saying like, "Hey, that's this, dum dum." Oh. Oh. Okay. So I think for the this is very interesting. And again, this is sort of one of those things that you don't think about until you're struggling with it. The belt, there's two different pieces for the belt, for the like the knot on the belt. You get the sort of relaxed knot and then the knot for when he's riding dragon and it's sort of blowing and billowing. This slides underneath the belt so that you can press it in so that the peg like fits. That's crazy. That is the weirdest thing. I have a ton of SH Figuarts and I've never seen that before. And it looks like John knew what it was, and I had no idea. Anyway, okay, well, there you go. Learn something new every day. Am I going to need the rest of the instructions? I don't think so. I'm going to put that off to the side. Hey, dragon. There he is. Adorable dragon. Not articulated at all. He's a statue. He doesn't move, and that's okay. As I said, he's going to go on the shelf and just look adorable. And that's his job. That's all he needs to do. That's all I need him to do. Let me see if I can find the piece that comes out. There it is. So that piece comes out. This piece goes in and is slightly keyed so that will only go one way. So there you go. So when you want to mount your Goku on there, you can. If you don't want to mount your Goku on there, I guess you just leave that piece in. Now he's gonna sit on the stand. Okay, so this piece goes this way, and now know that that's the way. That is the way. Right? Oh, these are magnetic. There's magnets in here. 2 out of the 3. The 2 big ones have magnets, and there's no it's just amazing. This thing is even better than I thought. Like it doesn't peg on. It doesn't and it's just locked in there with magnets. Magic. That's cool. That's really cool. That makes it super easy to get on and get off. Now I wish my Nimbus that came with my other figure was like that. I'm gonna get his whiskers wrong. Or am I? They're keyed as well. Yeah, they're keyed as well. Everything's keyed. Like, again, makes me so happy when companies make it so that idiots like me can't put their toys together incorrectly. I mean, I can't put it together, but I'm not putting it together incorrectly. Why can't I put this together? Because I'm an idiot and I'm doing it incorrectly. Yeah, sure enough, wrong way. Look at that beauty. Look at him. Look at how friendly he is. Isn't that a dragon that you'd want to ride? Of course he is. Not Shenron. There he is. Looking fantastic on his stand, magnets and all. There's the adapter piece. If I want to put him on, I will. And if I put him on, I will change the belt. So I will need that piece as well. Very, very, very cool. Like all of it, super cool. The cloud positions, like I said, they're keyed, so they only go in one position. Each one has a slightly different bottom. The peg is a different shape at the end, and so you can only put them in the spot that they belong. The problem is the one at the back. This was like a lowercase T shaped, which means that it could go sort of one of two directions, and I didn't know which direction it went until I got him. And these are strong magnets. Like this thing, I don't know how you show how a magnet's strong, but yeah, strong magnets. It pulls him right on there. No issue with sort of alignment or fitting him on there. Once you got the pegs right and you put him on there, he's on. He's not going anywhere. John says that was the other cover is the alt cover from the collected volume 1. Okay, that makes sense. Always the voice of logic in the group. Appreciate that. All right, so then we have the third tray or the first tray, depending on sort of how you look at it. And this, of course, has Goku. Now, I said that I had this open, so the hands aren't where they're supposed to be. You get a whole bunch of hands. You get alternate hair. You get the Tamfa, whatever the sort of little staff things are. You get the alternate belt piece. You get his tails in there. You get his little bow in there. You get the alternate faces. You get all kinds of fun stuff in here. I'm going to get this open now. Get him out. Get the alternate stuff out. I'll just dump it. Let me. Oh, I was going to share this too. So when I was talking about how there was like a whole process, there was a whole website that sort of gave information, and it was 100% in Japanese. They didn't give you. There's not an English version option. And there was like news, and I don't know exactly what this is. I think this was like the instructions on like how to fulfill your order and like how to do your mail away thing and all that kind of stuff. I genuinely don't know. I learned about this a few nights ago when I when I picked up my figure, and didn't ask my buddy to translate it because that would be mean, because it's long. There's a whole lot going on here. Telephone numbers, addresses, times and dates and all that kind of stuff. Legalese as well. But yeah, like this is a whole big thing. I don't know. I don't know if this was available outside of Japan. I don't know if they were willing to mail it to people outside of Japan. I'm sure there are people outside of Japan that also have one, but as of yet, I don't think I saw, I don't think, Tamashii Nations or P Bandai or anything like that had any listings or any sort of suggestion on how to get this. But anyway, all right, getting down to the figure now, and I'm actually going to tighten up the shot a little bit, because why not? I'm going to try. There we go. Tighten it up. That'll be fine. So you get Kid Goku, and this is like day one Goku, issue 1 Goku. This is like the little kid Goku, fishing with his tail, peeing it into the creek or the river or the little lake or whatever it is. So he's like the littlest version, and I don't think we've had a really little version of little Goku. I do have a couple other versions of Goku, and so for the sake of reference, that's the new one. The first version of Kid Goku that I got absolutely towers over him. This was the version that came with Nimbus, and he's a full head taller. The GT version, which I think is kind of my favorite version of mini Goku, is there. Still a little bit taller. This is still the smallest one, and I think proportion wise, it's a bigger head. It's like it's more accurate to the manga. I think this one is to the other ones. To this one for sure, because this one's too tall. And then GT is different because it's adult Goku shrunk down, so his proportions are a little bit different. But anyway, that's a whole different conversation. So there's Kid Goku, the newest version. For anybody that is curious, I wanted to include that little guy in there. Because that's they're sort of in scale. They're both in scale. They're both sort of correctly sized, and I personally wanted to see a comparison of these two next to each other, because that's sort of the smallest SH Figuarts figure that I have. Chaozu and Kid Goku is more or less the same size, I would say. Bigger head, a little bit thicker arms, a little bit bigger feet, but for all intents and purposes, if you have Chaozu, I think that's the second release of that little guy. That's the posable version. You'll have a pretty good idea of the size of the figure. Now, as far as articulation goes, this is not, the best articulation that SH Figuarts has to offer. Single jointed elbow. There's a ball joint at the wrist. The arm itself is on a ball joint. A little bit of like a butterfly to it, but not much. It's pretty limited. Single jointed knee that doesn't really go much past 90 degrees, but it's tiny, so I can understand why. The ankle is also just on a ball joint. No articulation for the toes, which SH Figuarts very often does have. So it's a pretty simple figure. That being said, he's just going to ride the dragon, and I don't need him to hit a ton of crazy poses. The staff is of course removable, so you get that. Very basic, no paint apps on that at all. You get for the rest of the accessories, I'm going to put that back No, I won't put it back in his hand just yet because I will show you what else he gets for accessories. He gets the little container, the little sheath for the staff with his little rope. This is removable, so that when you have the staff in his hand, you obviously wouldn't have a nub sticking out of the backpack. So you sort of take that one out. When it is stored, you can plug this thing in, and away you go. You get his tail, of course. You get his tail because he has a tail because he's still little and it hasn't been cut off. You get. He doesn't stand up very well because the articulation in the ankles is a little bit limited. Stay there. Two Tonfa? Is that what they're called? I don't know what these are called. And they actually, I believe, come apart according to the instructions. So this little cap comes off, this cap on the end, so that you can slide his hand on there. And I have another fist here that's not on a figure to show. That slides on, cap goes back on, and there you go. So you can put him in his fists if you want angry little fighty Goku, which I don't. I don't. I want this one. I want the super adorable, cute one. The alternate belt, like I said, the sort of billowy, moving one that's going to plug on there. And I think I'm going to plug that one on when I put them on here. You get alternate hair. So you get sort of the cover accurate hair, and then I'm gonna say like the manga accurate hair, like inside accurate hair, or maybe that's more the anime accurate hair. What does it say? Does it tell me? Interchangeable head part. Nope, it doesn't tell me. Let's consult the source material. Yeah, it's more accurate to the manga. I'm trying to find just a picture of adorable little Goku. There he is, fishing with his tail, naked. Like I said, innocent little Goku. Not doing a very good job. I'm just getting distracted. There's one. There's a good picture. You can see that there's sort of more detail to the hair. So the cover is a more sort of basic blocky hair, and then your alternate is more sort of inside the manga accurate, which is cool. I mean, that's certainly a detail that they probably didn't need to do, but it's cool that they did that. And you get kind of in between hair. I don't know. I don't know. Like, this is that's like that amount of wispiness, but slightly different. SH Figuarts is amazing for how much stuff they include that you might never ever need. The hands too. I already sort of pointed out that there's a fist hand that comes in the box. There's a fist hand that comes on the figure, and then one in the box. There's sort of a chopping hand. There's a matching chopping hand. You get two open hands, expressive open hands. You get two fists, of course. You get two peace signs. You get two kind of open martial arts posing kind of hands, I guess. I don't know. and then definitely two sort of posed martial arts hands. When he goes in the tournament or whatever, you could have him use those hands. I'm sure I will again have to consult the source material. And then of course SH Figuarts wouldn't be SH Figuarts if they didn't give us different expressive faces. So you get the nice big friendly smiling face on there, which is the one that's going to go on the dragon. But you also get this sort of determined face is what I'm going to call that one. I don't know what it's supposed to be called, but I'm going to call it the determined face. You get the sort of shocked face, and these are straight out of the manga, like so good. These are really nice matte, and the paint apps are really, really crisp and really clean. A pink tongue inside a red mouth, which my light is not picking up as well as it could. But yeah, really, really good looking face sculpts. Maybe the best I've seen. The best in terms of execution. The plastic looks perfect. It looks really good. Mischievous Goku there as well. So all those face sculpts are phenomenal. All together, the package is just really, really good. I think I want to change his belt, put his little pack bow staff sheath on, and sort of pose him up like he is on the cover, and then I'll be happy. That's as I said, I'll probably play with him a little bit more once I'm done, but really for the sake of sort of showing off. Okay, so that comes right off. Now if I try to push this on, I mean it kind of moves. But if I use this little plastic piece that I can put behind there, it won't move anywhere, and I can just push it right on, right? In theory. And that works. That's crazy. That's crazy that tiny little orange piece of plastic makes that much difference. Anyway, I have this upside down according to the cover. It's supposed to go that way. And I'm going to pop his head off. Put this on. Make sure I got it the right way. And of course I don't. So I got to do it again. I'm going to go this way. Yeah, that makes more sense. Pop the head back on. Take the little piece out. And there we go. That's going to go like so. He's going to bend his leg. Toes up. And I'm literally just going to pose it exactly how it looks on the cover, because I think anything else would be kind of a disservice to what this is. It's an action figure. It's a posable action figure, but at the same time, it's sort of like, it's a collector's piece. This is a piece that's gonna, okay, rotate this. I want to rotate the shoulder. I want to rotate his sleeve. The sleeve doesn't want to rotate. Because I want to get this pose. how am I doing compared to the box? That's you know what? I'm pretty much there because they didn't get it quite as good as the cover. Here, I should have the cover in the background as a reference. Where is it? Fall over. I didn't fall over. This is the boring part where I just like sit and enjoy my toy and play with my toy. But yeah, this is it. You know, this is what it's about. So okay, so this is gonna clip on, I think. Or not clip on so much as he just sort of rests in there, which is fantastic. Because then when you put him on, he's not going anywhere. Now I put it on the figure first, but I think you could definitely put it on after the fact. Maybe not. Maybe it works better if you do it first. That way. This arm is going to go out a little bit more. So he's supposed to be looking more or less where the dragon is looking, and I don't know that that's entirely feasible. He's looking roughly where he's looking. I mean, yeah, the arm's just not going to get there, unfortunately. But like that's, I mean, that's pretty darn close. That's pretty rad. That's very, very cool. So there he is, 40th anniversary. Kid Goku and Dragon, looking awesome. Normally when I do these, I kind of say, hey, you know, if you can get this, do it. And I'm gonna say that if you can get this, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, get this. I don't know how easy that's gonna be though, so I don't know what to say. This thing is awesome. This thing is better than I anticipated. You know, just in terms of like some of the little details that I didn't expect or didn't know about. The paint is perfect. The only thing is that there's not really any shading on Goku, but he doesn't need it. The figure's so small that just light will sort of give you some of the shape to the sculpt and stuff like that. So it's you know, it's basically everything I could want it to be. And it's going to be a fantastic display piece. It's really just a matter of how, you know, which angle do you display it at? How do you get it displayed? I think I'll probably put I'm thinking I'm going to do, you know, a shelf with the book with the manga, you know, and the figure, and just sort of have it there for a while. I have other Gokus and things like that, but I think this is going to replace, Goku on the Nimbus as my sort of display kid Goku, because it's far superior to that one. Far superior. Like they don't even compare. There is one that came in between. Like there's a Kid Goku that you can get, I think, at the Tamashii Nation stores. It's like a store exclusive, which I don't have. But that's because I had the other version and then I knew I was getting this one. But anyway. Yeah, if you like Dragon Ball and you like the anniversary editions and you like this, good luck. Truly good luck, because this thing is really, really cool, and well worth picking up if you can find it. Anyways, as I always say, it's always way more fun to open toys with friends. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. Thank you for hanging out for a minute and being jealous of my toy. Until next time, またね